Most of the time when I come into my studio, I feel nice and relaxed and creative and I'm ready to start work, and it's usually fairly tidy. Sometimes though, like today, I walk in and I feel cluttered. My brain is already so cluttered with things and ideas and stuff I want to do. And then I come in here and my desk is also cluttered. Today is a tidy with me video. Perhaps if you have some mess in your own studio or your own home, you might like to tidy with me. To you, this might not seem quite as cluttered as it does to me, but having all of this on the desk basically means that I can't work. I have cleared away this little section here so that I can work on my computer, but that's about it. The rest of it is covered. Whoops! See, I can't even move my hand without dropping something. Old glass, random mug of hot water, which is now completely cold. Old bits and bobs, stuff that I bought and haven't used. And then it's pretty much the same on the other side. And although things are contained in these boxes and little like containers and cases, I don't feel very organized. It just feels cluttered to me and I literally cannot find anything that I want to use. So my plan was to come in here and film a little sketchbook tour of my week in Corfu. Let me give you a little sneak peek of one of the pages. But I feel like I can't do a proper video without clearing all of this stuff up. Now, I could just push it all to one side and be done with it, but I think I need to have a tidy because I literally cannot find anything. I will say that before I left on holiday, I tidied up all of this space, which was very cluttered up with the remains of my open studio show. And because I knew my dog was going to be in here a lot and he loves the floor, it's mainly his domain, which is why I don't have too much stuff on it. I cleared all that stuff up and put all the artwork up nicely on my wall. But that still leaves all the table stuff to sort out, and let me know in the comments whether you cleaned along with me. First order of business is to get everything off of that side table, put it over here and sort it all out together, because that means then that I have those side tables completely free and empty to put back things in order. New glasses. I have now entered the world of varifocals. Oh my gosh, such a mess. This looks so organized, but it is not at all organized. Another so-called organized little bit. Not at all. I don't even know what this is. And that's my little notebook where I put everything that I need to do in. Sketchbook. Another notebook, which actually can stay here. I need to actually return this to a client. Those things can just stay there. Oh my gosh, I have a half-eaten lollipop. Gross. In the bin. I think, what is that? I don't know if you can see that. Glasses cases for my multiple glasses. I think I can just leave that there because that's fairly tidy. And then I know what those are. Random bit of board for palette. And then these. I keep all my favorite pencils in the stand that I got from Great Art. It's a Gerstacker, if you can see that there. And spray bottles. I don't even know what this is. Oh, mic stuff. So that can stay there. Another random tin of stuff. Oh, an ornament that I started painting and never actually finished. Might get that done. I did actually buy some more this week. So we'll see if that actually gets done. More bits and bobs. A whole glass of markers that I need to test and see if they still actually work. I don't even have space for this on the table anymore, so that's going to go on my chair here. Random things, umbrella cover, so weird. All right, I think it's time to clean that table. I'm going to give it a wipe. Back in a minute. So here's what my table now looks like. Covered with stuff. And this little thing over here that I have been putting off forever. But, yep. Let's deal with this, shall we? At least everything else down here is fairly tidy. But, yep, let's get to it. The easiest thing to do might be to get rid of the big stuff. So all of the sketchbooks I can just pile in one section and sort them out later. So chucking all the stuff that's not required taking out any pencils from the sketchbook, random paper, empty sketchbook, another one. I was actually doing an odd orange session with April of Monkey Mintaka, and that's the one that we did. This was the classical painting session, I think it was. And then there was one more on this page. I used acrylic gouache for it. So much fun. I'm gonna leave these because I need to film with these. But let's get rid of all the other sketchbooks spread out literally everywhere. Oh my gosh. Why do I have so many out and about? Okay. So all the sketchbooks. And then these 3 that I took to Corfu with me, I actually need to film with. So my little Corfu kit should probably stay in one place. Let's pop those back in. If you've not watched what I took to Corfu, that was the last video that I did. So sketchbooks, this one is empty, so it can go in the empty sketchbooks bookshelf. And the rest of them are currently in use, so they go back on the other bookshelf. I should probably give you a tour of how I store things at some point. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. Then I've got these random pots and things full of pens. This is actually my fountain pen that I use every day that I have been looking for. So that is going to go with my little notebook. I'm probably going to have to refill it because the ink is probably dried up. I haven't used it in so long. I had my husband's parents visiting, and then we went on holiday. And then now I'm back and my parents are here next week. So one of the reasons I'm clearing up the studio is I know I'm not going to get a lot of work. Hello, Sammy. I know I'm not going to get a lot of work done next week. So I can clear the decks and completely start from scratch the following week. That includes all of these pencils and things because this is the color palette that I've been using over the last few months. And maybe it'll be nice to have a little change because it's now summer's gone, autumn's coming in, winter's coming in. So perhaps I should change the colors that I've been using. But first order of business, put everything in one place. Sorting out into chunks really helps you to sort of get a handle on things. I can then sort out by category. So first I took all the sketchbooks out and put them away. So it's now cleared a whole bunch of stuff. Then I'm going to probably put all the paperwork in one section, all the pens and pencils and things in one section. And it just helps it make it a little bit more manageable rather than panicking and wondering where to start, because that can happen. So I've got paperwork here. As I see it, I'm just going to dump it over there that I can sort out. An old umbrella cover. I don't know what it's doing here, so it's going on the floor. And then more pens. In fact, I'm not going to put them in that. I'll probably put them, well, they fit in that, so let's just leave them in there for now. All of my markers that I refilled the other day. That's another video that you can watch on my YouTube channel, actually. Anything that doesn't fit is going to go into these. So there's 1, 2, my fountain pens, brushes, possibly brushes I can just keep separately. There's another brush in there. Let's put all the brushes in there. Pens, more pens, bookmark, random bookmark. The clips I've been looking for ages. Just clip them onto my stuff there. Another magnetic clip I've been looking for. Pencils, lids, hair clips. Hair clips can just go over there. And then this is just random things. So let me put the brushes in there and put the random stuff in here that I'm not really sure what to do with. So now I've got more paper, random lid for something, put that over there, glasses and kitchen stuff. Easy enough, there's literally only 2 of them here. Stuff that I can immediately take and put away. All right, so that is neatly put away. Now I've got all of these. Another clip, another clip. All of these things really disappear. And now let's just pop these together so that I can sort them together. Random bits and bobs can just go in this one. Inks and things and sharpeners in that one. I'm just creating categories of things, like I said. It's just much easier to sort things out that way. And then I don't have to worry about, oh, look, I've got a whole thing here full of brushes. So the brushes can just go in that. And then I can sort them out in a bit. Is this making sense? I hope it is. I do enjoy cleaning, but I don't enjoy cleaning when I have to do it. You know what I mean? Like, this is kind of exciting because I know I can go through all the materials that I've been using over the past few months and be excited about them again. And I will show you how I store my pencils and markers in just a minute. But let's get all this paperwork sorted first. I'm going to take out my Corfu kit and put it aside because that's what I need to film with. So that's going to go right next to my keyboard so that I know not to put that away. And the other two random bits that are next to it can come over here. Tissue that I use for art stuff can go in this. Sharpener. This is actually a little glass piece by somebody in the Harrow Open Studios. When I collected my artwork from the shop where it was displayed during the Open Studios show, this was in the little basket. So this is something I actually need to pack up and return to her, which is good because I was wondering where it had gone. Random lid. I think this is the lid for this box. That can go there. And these little ornaments need to get painted at some point. So I will probably actually have an ornaments box up there. Have a look. Right up there. So I'm just going to pop them in this box. Like so. And that is sorted. One little piece has gone back into place. Now I've got random bottles that I use for plein air sketching, which can all go together, and my fixative as well. And now I have a little space to sort out what's here. I bought some little decoupage brushes. I need to kind of make them a little bit iffy. That's the only way I can describe it, so that I can get rougher lines in my paintings. So that'll be fun. Again, that pops into the little brushes section. And I got 2 more of those little sketchbooks that I took with me to Corfu. So that can go back in the unused sketchbook pile, which is over there. So that goes up there. And my dog has decided to join us. So there he is, fast asleep in his baskets. He actually turns 5 on Saturday. It'll probably be the Saturday before I put this video out. So he would already be 5 years of age. And I sometimes get a little bit of anticipatory grief whenever he has birthdays, because I've had dogs before, and the loss that you feel when they go is indescribable. Like, I still remember my dogs from my childhood with very happy memories. The only sad memory is that they're gone, but every other memory about them is so happy, and I love reliving them and enjoying them. But sometimes just the anticipatory grief, like just knowing that he might not be here for that long, can be really sad. So on birthdays and things, I have a little cry and I just hold him a little bit closer for the following year. So yeah, anyway, not to get too maudlin or anything, let's sort out this paperwork over here. I'm just going to take all of the tissues and put them, as I said, in this little section. And any paperwork that I need to sort out in one pile, palettes and things in another pile over here. I'm not going to sort the paperwork now. I'm just going to put it in a pile. Ooh, random cloth. And decide what I'm going to do with it later, because that's just a problem for another day, I feel like. Palettes, extra paper. I'm not even sure what this is. And more paper, paper, and stuff. So I can just dump that over there and sort it out another time. What is this? Hanging hooks. Not sure why this is here. Possibly because when I was putting up the artwork on my wall, I took them out. But that actually goes in the shed. So that doesn't even belong in my studio. More palettes, palette paper. Okay, so this can just go in all in one big pile over there. So that's sorted. Big pile of paper and palettes. So this I will probably sort at some point, but I tend to use that paper up when I'm doing sketchbook work and things like that. Now, this is an important one. I've got an empty jar here, and I have a bottle of Brush Flush. Brush Flush is a brush cleaner, and I'm really going to need this because when I went away for my holidays, I completely forgot that I had left some acrylic brushes in the water. I know you're not supposed to do this, but occasionally my brain is just so full of stuff that I forget to take them out. And these ones are quite nice and soft and malleable. But the second batch, yup, they've kind of gone all hard and crusty and really gross. Let me show you this close up. It's really not good. So they're literally crusty. So I'm going to have to soak them in that brush flush until they're as good as new. I will actually film that because I'm sure some of you have had this situation. The 2 sets of brushes, the empty jar, and the brush flush. So I know exactly what I need to do with those. Job number 1, paperwork. Job number 2, clean those darn brushes. Now, I'm going to leave the brush thing with that because I can sort that at some point. And let's get to all of the pens and pencils, which I'm pretty sure you might be more interested in than the rest of my junk. I'm going to put this away as well because I know that I've got to give that piece back to someone, and I'm actually not sure where these are from. So let me just leave them there and I'll sort them out when I sort them out. This is pretty self-explanatory. These are all the papers that I use to wipe my brushes. And that is a tray of randoms. So I can leave that there, and any randoms that I find, I can then pop straight into there. First order of business, this, because it's not that full. I'm going to take everything out. And I kind of use this as my regular holder for markers and things. So I'm going to pop all the markers back in. There are watercolor markers. These are brush markers. And I have a brush pen filled with ink as well. And then fountain pen. I'm going to put all the fountain pens in here because I have been looking for them. And there's already an ink cartridge in here. So it kind of works out that way. Brush pens with ink. Markers. Tombow markers maybe in the top. I'm not quite sure where to put that yet. All the Karen markers can kind of go in together. These ones are the pigment deco brush. And then these ones are the pigment rail brush. I don't have that many of them, but they're pretty nice. Tombows, Poscas. Let's put all the Poscas together, actually. Poscas over there. Brushes. Rail brush again. So now that's fairly organized. I know kind of what's in each slot, and then I can add more as we go. And then acrylic markers can all kind of stay here. That's a watercolor marker. Then I've got this little pot with the brush markers that I refilled earlier. I think those can go in here as well. Then I can have all of my markers in one place. In there. Putting all the acrylic markers down here for now that are not brush markers. All the brush markers are kind of in here. Oh, my one and only Ecoline brush marker. I haven't even used this Faber-Castell Gold Faber Aqua. I need to actually do a review of that one. And my Molotov brush tips are in there, so that can go in the randoms over there. And then we come to this one. So let me just pull out all of the Tombows from here. All of the well, there's just 2. Okay, so the Tombows just go in there. And all of the Poscas. Put this one back in. Oh, there's one more there. And all of the Poscas now here. Pens. Oh, I actually have to refill most of my Fude pens because the ink does dry up if you leave them for too long. Randoms. Fountain pen, eraser. My lovely Duke fountain pen. I got this after I made the video and it's so nice. It's really lovely. Don't know what that is. Colored pencil blender. Okay. Pens. Ruler. Brush marker. Blender is white. Yeah. Another marker. Pencil. Now, should I put that in there or should I put that in there? See, these are the, the questions I have right now. What pencil should I put where? I'm actually going to take all of the pencils. Ooh, look, I have a pencil lid for something. Don't even know what that's for. All of the pencils in one slot and then sort them out later. This is a separate marker. I need to just leave that in there. Pencil shavings, even. Actually, let's put that with the sharpener there. All the pencils, and I will show you in a minute where I'm going to put them back to. I don't really need to sort them out. I already have a space where I'm going to put them in. My one and only soft pastel. All the pencils. Okay, now I have spaces free here. So what I can do is put in my Liquitex markers in one and the Poscas in another. And the Molotovs, actually the Molotovs can probably go in with this even though they're not brush markers. And I have two, these can go in with the Liquitex. So I now have a neatly sorted section where I know what's what. And I'm going to pop in the pencil in there too, as well as these lovely Cretacolor pencils, which again, I'll do a review of them. They're one of my favorite sets for drawing. Oh, I forgot this little bit here. What's in there? I'm not sure what those are. Oh, brush covers, so they can just go in the random bits section. And more pencils over here. So perhaps it makes more sense to take out everything that's in here and put all the pencils in here so it's easier to pick up afterwards. Random Sharpie, I guess that can go in here. More Staedtler pens. Staedtler were kind enough to actually send me a whole set of these, and I will do a review at some point. These are the pigment brush pens. More pens, my fountain pen, travel brush swatches, which I'm just going to brush section. Pencils, another brush, and some new colors, and more pencils. A whole box of pencils there. New colors I still keep in the box, so I'm just going to pop them in here. There's a gray and a couple, and there are some in my Corfu box. So when that happens, I will sort them out as well. Here's how we're looking right now. Way better. Box absolutely chock full of pencils over here. Neatly sorted out markers, stuff that I know what to do with later. And empty space. Look, empty space. My voice recorder so you can have good sound. The kit that I need to film next, the Corfu kit. My favorite pencils, which I need to refill some of these slots from stuff that I've put in over there and in my Corfu kit. Things that I know what they are. I know that I need to sort these things out. So empty space that I'm now going to fill with stuff and my pencils down there, which you will see in a minute. So let's put things back, shall we? I don't want to clutter it up too much because I don't want it getting back in that same state again. So I'm only going to put some things back and not everything. So my markers are going to go back here where I can sit here and access them. And so are these as well. Probably put these here and then those there. Make sure that this can turn so that I'm not stuck with just the front two sections. My fountain pens can go in front of that because I need to refill them. I have the inks up on the shelf above it. Right there. The brushes that I need to sort out, I'm going to put at the end, along with the two bottles of acrylic brushes that I need to sort out, and the brush flush and the extra. So this needs sorting. My ruler needs to go with some stuff, so I'll put it with the fountain pens for now and sort it out later. This is what I need to film next, so that stays there. My fixative goes back where it always is, over there. I have some clear gesso, which actually goes under my table. I'll take you there in a minute. These two bottles, this one is my emergency water supply that goes in my handbag. And this one is just my bottle that I take with me plein air. They go in boxes. I can never do any tidying without having a quick cuddle break. So you can come with me and have a quick cuddle break with Sammy. Hey, Sammy boy. Can you believe you'll be 5 tomorrow? Already, Sammy. Look at them teefies. Oh, he's a good boy. He is a good boy. Big yawn. Okay. All right. Back to the grind. Apart from those little bits, I had one more little thing full of stuff. It's got some brusho in it and my art graph. So I'm just going to leave those two things in there, but I'm going to take out this... Oops. I'm going to take out this blending liquid by Staedtler, which goes actually with the pens. And I need to actually do a video about it. So these two can just stay in there. Just before we get through these exciting pencils, let me show you where I keep my lovely gesso. I actually have a printer stand right underneath the table here, on which I've got a bunch of acrylic stuff. So the acrylic gesso actually goes in there. And then on the bottom, I've got a whole bunch of palettes and things. When I give you a studio tour, I'll do all this properly and let you know what is exactly where. So down here on another printer table, which I can easily pull in and out, I have this ginormous carousel. It spins around like this, and I got it secondhand from eBay, but I think it's originally from Michael's in the United States. And it has these little drawers in which I keep pencil stubs in this one. There's some hooks here for scissors, another drawer which is currently empty, hooks here with elastic for things, another drawer in which I keep random Allen keys and tools. But the most handy thing, and more hooks here, the most handy thing about it is got all of these places to keep things in. So in the middle I've got all my Tombows, and all around it I've got color-coded pencils. I mix all my brands up. The only thing I keep separately is my box of Caran d'Ache watercolor pencils, because when I use these, I just use them by themselves. I don't mix them with other things. So this is how I keep most of my pencils. And I've labeled things like water-based, and I know that these are just regular pencils. And I've got a section here for brushes as well, and dip pens and stuff. So this is how I keep all of my pencils, except the working ones, which are in those little pots over there. So those are the ones I'm using on a regular basis. And these are, well, quite frankly, my hoard of pencils. So I'm just going to go through this box here and slot them back in. But the first thing to do is to sort them by color. I don't have a very specific range. So I've got reds and pinks, yellows and oranges, grays, browns and ochres, greens, blues, and these are the Graphitint pencils all together. So yeah, so it's pretty general, and I can just separate into blues and greens and things like that, and it'll be fine. My favorite pencils, however, which are really tiny, will go into the stand. And I know that they're my favorite because they are teeny tiny. There we go. Slotted in. Neon pink, very much a favorite at the moment. Yellows, greens. I might actually speed up this section for you and show you when I have sorted all of these pencils out. So I've got all my pencils sorted out. Let me just turn you downwards so you can see what we're dealing with here. I've got a whole bunch of blues, greens, reds, pinks and kind of oranges, and then yellows over there. I've got my Inktense pencils separately because they're water soluble. And then over here, I've got browns and grays. So it really gives me a good idea of the kind of colors that I've been using over the past few months. But what I'm also going to do now is perhaps swatch all of these out in a little notebook so that I can keep a track of the things that I've been doing. I might bore you with that, but I think I'll just do the swatching and then show you the page after. So here we've got the colors that I used over the past few months. Quite a bright color palette compared to the previous 6 months, I feel like. I might do an assessment of what I've been using by looking at the pieces of artwork that I've made, maybe. I'm not even in the frame here, am I? Oh well, there we go, I'm back in. So yeah, I might do that at some point. But in the meantime, it's time to put back all of my pencils. So literally what I do is I scroll around to the first section, pick up all of my reds, and just pop them in like that. I do have quite a lot of pencils, so it takes a little bit of squishing in there, but I'm gradually getting through my pencils and trying not to buy any more until I've finished all of these. Now the little ones don't get put in there, they get put in pencil stubs, and I still use these even though they're really teeny tiny. But I just can't see them when they're put in there like that. Next up is the grays. And I have separate one for blacks in there. And then the lighter grays go in the back. 2 more little pencil stubs back in there. Blues. I might have to really shove these in because I have quite a lot of blues now. And anyway, I'm going to be taking out some to work with later on, so it doesn't really matter so much. And then the greens, a bit more space in that. Then this is my watercolor pencils section, water-based pencils. And I just keep my Inktense together so that I can find them when I need them. Brushes I'll sort out in a bit. And then what am I missing? Oh, the pinks also go in with the reds. Might have a little trouble with that. Let's just readjust some of them. There we go. Yay. Shove them in there. And then the purples actually go in with the blues. I forgot them earlier. Where are the blues gone? I've lost my blues. There we go. No. Pop in, come on. So you see, they don't all fit in there. So I'm going to have to take some out and work with them. And then, of course, the browns. So that is how I store my pencils. Rather pretty, isn't it? And it's also convenient because, let me just pop it back to where it lives. Down here. So when I'm sitting at my desk and I'm working on things, if I don't have a pencil with me over here, all I need to do is turn around, move back a little bit. Generally, I'm up here. Move back a little bit, spin this around, and literally just pick out the pencil that I want to use and continue. I just really keep all of my art supplies accessible now. So those are there. And then up here on the shelf right next to me, I have everything in shelves so that I can literally just pull out anything I need to use and put it back equally easily. I also love these Lazy Susan type things. So here I've got all of my acrylic inks in one. So when I'm reaching for something, for example, if it's over there and I'm working over here, I don't have to reach over that side to get it. All I do is spin it around, pick up the one that I want, and I keep working. So ease of use, ease of tidying up, and pretty much my desk is almost clear. I took out another sketchbook. So just like the art supplies, the sketchbooks are also accessible right there. Let me just get rid of that. Sketchbooks are accessible there. I've got my acrylic gouache, acrylic inks, Kuretake Gansai, which was a Christmas present, acrylic inks up there, and then the rest of my paints all in there. It just is really easy to access, really just reducing the friction between me and my art supplies. And of course, my favorite pencils are always just here, so I can use them whenever I want. Now I have a clear desk, so I can get back to the actual task at hand, which was filming what I drew on my trip to Corfu. That will be the next video out after this one, hopefully. And by then, my parents will have left as well. My life will be my own again. And hopefully I will get a bit more creative, have more time to draw, be more inspired, and have loads more videos for you. If you want more inspiration, watch these videos next. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.